Most cyclists over 40 think they've got a training problem. They're tweaking their intervals, or chasing their FTP, and they're adding more volume. And they still feel that something feels off. So in this video, I'm going to break down something I recently wrote about in my newsletter, why heart rate variability and sleep might matter more than your FTP, especially once you're over 40, and how I personally tested this for myself. And if you don't know me, my name is Neil Damrow. I coach cyclists over 40 to lose weight and rise stronger without spending endless hours on the bike. I've worked in healthcare for over a decade, and I train 4 to 5 times per week myself and help riders improve their FTP by 20 to 50 watts, 4 to 6 kilos sustainably. And here is what I've learned. After 40, what moves the needle isn't always what you think it is. You can still be pushing hard, but sometimes something needs to change. You can still increase your FTP, you can still climb better than you could do 5 years ago, and you can still train hard. But what I've noticed myself is that if you're waking up tired, if you need more caffeine, if you plateau more easily, and you get ill more often, and also fat loss becomes harder, most riders assume they need more intensity. But there's another variable that can become more important as we age. And this is where heart rate variability and sleep comes in. It's not a trend, it's not a gimmick, it's just looking at physiology. So what is heart rate variability and why should you care? So heart rate variability, HRV, measures the variation in time between your heartbeats. It reflects how well your nervous system is balancing, how it's balancing stress, your sympathetic nervous system, and recovery, your parasympathetic nervous system. A higher HRV, better recovery and better adaptability. A lower HRV, accumulative stress, fatigue, illness, and insufficient recovery. And this isn't just theory. A lot of research shows that heart rate variability guided training improves aerobic performance more than fixed programs themselves. HRV closely tracks endurance training status in elite athletes, and it's also a reliable marker of fatigue and adaptation. In simple terms, HRV can help you decide when to push harder and when to back off when it comes to your training. And that becomes even more important as we age, and it can matter the most after the age of 40. So as we get older, our parasympathetic nervous system actually declines. So our ability to recover reduces. Our hormone stress response changes and HRV trends downwards as we age. But this doesn't have to mean that your performance has to decline. It just means that you can't guess your recovery as much as you could have done when you were younger. So if you're over 40 and training hard without monitoring your recovery, then in some way, then you're flying blind. And this is why sleep is so huge. HRV and sleep are tightly linked. So poor sleep actually lowers your parasympathetic nervous system and reduces your HRV. A sleep restriction also impairs your endurance performance, and sleep loss also increases physiological stress on the body. And this is the part that most cyclists underestimate, that sleep deprivation increases ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and as a result reduces leptin, which helps to keep you more satiated from eating. And this is what makes weight management harder, even if you're training really consistently. So if you're training to improve your power to weight ratio over 40, then sleep isn't optional. It's actually a performance tool. And for me, this is what I did personally to track my HRV. So instead of talking about it, I decided to test it myself. So for 1 week, I measured my HRV every morning using a standardized chest strap synced to a free app called Elite HRV. The link will be below in the description. Nothing fancy, no subscription wearables, just me and a heart rate monitor and being consistent for 7 consecutive mornings. The same time in the morning, before any caffeine in the morning, before getting out of bed, I was just laying in the same position, lying down and tracking my HRV for around 2.5 minutes every morning. And this helped to give me a baseline. And alongside that, I also tracked the hours that I slept each night to give me an idea of how much rest I was actually getting. And what I noticed was pretty clear. The longer the sleep I had, the higher my HRV was. And the shorter the sleep I had, the lower my HRV was. It wasn't too dramatic, but it was consistent. And that's what matters more, is the consistency. So you don't need to track your HRV all year round, but sometimes a focused 7 to 14 day block during maybe periods of heavy training, stressful work period, or any performance plateaus can certainly give you some incredible useful feedback. So we're going to look at how to use HRV properly without obsessing over it. So here's what I recommend when using it with cyclists that I coach over 40. So first of all, we want to establish a baseline. So 7 days minimum. Measure it first thing in the morning, before caffeine, before getting up. Same conditions. And then look at trends over the course of those 7 to 14 days, not single numbers. And then make sure you're tracking your sleep alongside it. So write down how many hours you slept, generally what your quality of sleep might have been on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being really poor. And then you'll likely see patterns pretty quickly. More sleep generally increases your HRV, less sleep, and you lower your HRV. And that awareness alongside that helps to change behavior, and then use it as a guide and not something to judge you. So if your HRV trends downwards over 3-5 days, reduce your intensity, try to prioritize more sleep, and avoid stacking hard sessions on top of one another. And hopefully, if your HRV is trending upwards, then you're likely adapting. Harder sessions are going to be better tolerated, and it's going to give you some good feedback. It's certainly not a verdict, but it's going to give you some feedback, which is going to help you to manage your training load. And it's really important to add in some practical recovery strategies to help you to be consistent to making these changes. So make sure you have 7 to 8 hours sleep every night. Sleep is when a growth hormone is released to help muscle repair and our autonomic balance resets. Simple upgrades is to make sure you fix your bedtime and wake up time. Try to keep the room nice and dark and cool, around 16 to 19 degrees Celsius. No screen time an hour before bed. And obviously reduce alcohol, because that does crash your HRV quite considerably. And even add in an extra 45 to 60 minutes per night can significantly improve your recovery metrics. Also, underfueling after hard sessions can really harm your sleep as well. So after hard sessions, make sure you eat carbs at dinner. Include at least 20 to 40 grams of protein before bed. And low carb evenings after an intense ride can often impair your sleep quality and recovery. And lastly, focus on some scheduled deload weeks. Every 3 to 5 weeks within your training plan, you want to make sure you're reducing your volume by 30 to 40%. Maintain light intensity, increase more mobility work to aid recovery, and plan some recovery into your program, which can help you to add in some forced recovery to your plan. You can also add in some more parasympathetic work, which might be 5 to 10 minutes of daily nasal breathing, meditation, maybe going for a nice walk outside throughout the day, break up your day at lunchtimes. Again, some light mobility work, 5 to 10 minutes of stretching every day can help to aid your parasympathetic nervous system. And over time, these can help to improve your HRV in the future. So at 25, you might be able to ignore recovery and still improve. But at 45, recovery becomes a much bigger part of the equation. And the smarter cyclists that I work with do train hard when the body is ready, but we really focus on backing off and aiding recovery when signals like HRV drop, and also treat sleep like structured training as well. Because the goal really here isn't just to get as faster as you can next month, it's to keep getting faster for the next 10 years and keep on enjoying the sport for as long as possible. So if you want the full breakdown of what I've just gone through, including all the research references and exactly how I structure my 7-day tracking block, then I've linked this newsletter in the comments below. And if you're not on the email list yet, then this is where I go deeper into this stuff each week. Practical strategies for cyclists over 40 who want to ride leaner and stronger without burning out. So there is a link in the description below if you'd like to sign up. But I'm curious, do you currently track sleep or your heart rate variability? Let me know in the comments below. And if this was useful, don't forget to hit subscribe. I got more coming on performance, fat loss, and long-term cycling health for riders who refuse to slow down just because they're turned 40.